If you want to keep it real or hear the tea, believe me, this is the place to be. Excuse you, you crazy for real. Excuse you, you crazy for real. Excuse you, you crazy for real. Real chickas say word. Ashrata. Oh.
What's up, what's up, what's up? It's Sharado on the Asharado Show right here on WLVS, ListenVisionLive.com. Here tonight with my co-host, Grindstone.
That's right.
Our producer, The Urbanista.
Hey, hey.
Our DJ, Blue Magic.
What it is, what it do.
And our special guest tonight, Rashid Spurlock.
All right.
Appreciate the invite.
Now, Rashid, why don't you tell our audience a little bit about yourself and where they can find you on social media?
Pretty much metro operator, 33. I don't do much, just, stay away from drama, just try to have
What
fun.
metro? Is it the train or the bus?
The bus.
The 33 bus?
No, I stay away from that line.
What bus? Which one is it?
Yeah.
Is it the 90 or the X2?
Man, I'm over there out of Minnesota Avenue, man.
Oh, you stay in drama.
U5,
okay.
U8. Yeah, it's crazy over there.
Why do I say the 90 or the X2 like that's the only two
Hey,
things?
do you have to put hands on people when they get the tripping on your bus?
Nah, I can't put hands on them even though I want to, because that's what they want. So you could lose that good money you making.
Right.
But the pretty part about it is that where I drive at, I live around the neighborhood. So these same cats that you see running their mouth, you catch them in the store, you like, what's up? Hey, no nobody want to mess with you now.
The give back is
real.
real.
Pretty much.
Well, we want to hear from everyone tonight. Call us at 202-758-8607. That's 202-758-8607. Or hit us up on social media at Asharado, Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. And tonight we have a special topic, but before we get into that, we really want to talk about what's affecting us close to home right now, which is the Baltimore riots and
The
just that,
uprising.
the uprising.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Well,
when you see it.
everybody's going to speak on that tonight and just how they're feeling about all of it and where we go from here. So I know, Grindstone, this was near and dear to your heart, and you definitely have some stuff to say about this.
Well, I do. I mean, the beautiful thing about this situation is the fact that it is now televised and recorded. So people who complain about what goes on aren't just like put off to be like angry people. And really you have a situation where you have people who are victimized by lack of opportunity, unguaranteed food, clothes, and shelter. Those are the people who were victimized. That will always cause a problem. But then you have something so overt like presence of police and a man with his back broken. And so, like Martin Luther King said, I mean, a riot is the voice of the unheard. So, I mean, I think that, like, I would be very disappointed if people were not in the street. If everybody just got a bucket of chicken and watch what's on TV at 8 p.m., I would be really disappointed. I'd be deflated by that. So the fact that the people are in the streets is the reason why we are talking about it right now, because there have been so many things. I mean, Oscar Grant, Sean Bell, Amadou Diallo, like, I mean, the list goes on forever about people who got killed by police unjustly, and it hasn't been news that everybody reacted to.
But Grindstone, they've been in the street all week, right?
Yeah.
So we weren't really talking about them being in the street until they start burning stuff up.
Well, it's Tuesday, so all week is like not that long.
Really Saturday,
Well,
I think it was everything.
Saturday is when it started.
And maybe if we can get a little bit more background about what exactly happened, or we know it to be fact and what we still don't know, because I think that's one of the biggest problems when you have incidents like this, as far as informing the public as to giving them the actual information. If we don't have the information, then you're going to be left to formulate an opinion, assume whatever the case may be, whether it's right or wrong.
Okay, well, a
Yeah,
man was arrested.
Because the media is only going to give you what they want
Right.
you to know.
A man
You
was
gotta get under the
arrested.
surface.
Well, he looked the police. This was from the chief of police. He looked the policeman in his eye. He got nervous and ran.
They ran.
For that reason, the police got him. The man ended up with a broken back. He died.
Severed spinal cord
Yeah.
and a broken back.
And,
Right.
And damaged his voice box.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Now
that's
imagine what you have to go through, like physically, at that time in order to sustain those injuries. That's
Crazy.
100% excessive for something that the chief of police is co-signing as a non-crime.
And then they tried to say that what they locked him up was for is having a knife that was considered illegal, but that's not probable cause to stop somebody. And I mean, you don't know that he had a knife in his pocket. He didn't have on, see-through pants or something that would be so like ridiculous that you would know that he might have had a weapon. And then apparently other people are saying that the knife he had was in the legal limit for the length of the blade.
The man could have had a machete. Why are you crushing his voice box?
Right.
Why are you breaking his back?
Exactly.
So, like, I mean, it's just
Well, I think one of the bigger issues, though, is the way that people have decided to respond to all of this. And I have to say I ride the line in that I don't think that you should act ignorant if something is being... If you're against something, because I'm totally against what was done to this man and how he was killed by the police and all of that. But at the same time, I think people are having a hard time understanding why they're going out there and causing fires and stealing and rioting and all of that stuff, because they don't get the feeling of being unheard in that particular situation.
So there were a couple of different dynamics and storylines that have gone down as far as how things got started with the riots. One aspect of it was a large youth presence that was distributed on social media regarding a purge, which, if you haven't seen the movie, is basically in the movie for 24 hours once a year, this nation, they have no laws and they just do whatever they want to do, and that allegedly keeps the crime low for the rest of the year. So there was a group of kids who put things out on social media amongst high school students to meet at Mendon Mall, which is a big mall there, amongst other places in the city, to have a purge.
Right.
Which, you know, some people can play into and be like, oh, that's because of the situation. Other people, I think, personally just took advantage, like, okay, well, we're just going to act stupid.
But let's not lose sight of what has happened. A person has died because he's brown skinned.
And that's that, you know, and I believe in revolt. I believe in uprising. I believe we have every right to be pissed off, right? Mm-hmm. The issue I have, if it's an issue, is just I want us to get to the place when we decide we're going to burn some shit down and a revolution is going to happen. Right. Let it not be in our neighborhood, right?
But check this out, though. Okay, now, like, people were saying, why you got to tear up your own shit, right? Well, if you don't own shit, that's not your own shit.
Right, but the thing is,
so, like, it's different.
I dig that, but the fact of the matter is, despite we don't own it, and I understand
it's
that
still your community,
but we
though.
still got to go back there, right? Because I was a 8th grader when we had the LA riots, right? And I think that South Central now is just barely starting to recover from that. And had Magic not, you know, done all he did with the Magic Johnson Theater and the mall and all that, I don't know how that street, that community would be right now.
Well, you know, this is a beautiful time of year because what's the day? The 28th? Mm-hmm. Well, tomorrow's the 29th. April 29th, 1992 is when the Rodney King riots went down.
Right, that's what I'm talking about.
So this time of year is when I guess things pop off.
I mean, I agree to that. I mean, destroying your own community. I mean, because if you notice, I don't know if y'all know, but when Dr. King was killed, they tore up 8th Street. 8th Street is just coming back from that. And you're talking about that's almost 50 years ago.
Yeah. And the cool thing is, it's not coming back for us, though.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
They're building it and then trying to move us out of here.
So, and I was, you know, I was telling someone yesterday, I'm like, you know, they're going to let us burn our shit down. And then when that area redevelops, it ain't going to be us living there.
Right.
You know, it's some people going to get it for cheap and they're going to build. So
like being solution based, if you're 21 or 18 and you've been victimized or you've been related to people who've been victimized by a system based on inequity, usually surrounded around race, put yourself in the shoes of a real frustrated person with a lot of energy.
Well, that's why I said what I said, Grindstone. I think, you know, it's easy to see from both sides. I mean, when you are the affected party or someone close to you is the affected party, you understand how that emotional reaction happens. Like, you lose your mind. You're trying to defend yourself. There's so many things going on. You're not thinking about what's right or what's wrong, so to speak. You want to be heard.
Yeah.
But I also think in all of that, it's, you know, from the outside looking in at the situation, it's like a lot of people, and especially people of other races, are looking in like, why are they behaving in that way?
But see, fuck them. Because, like, for real, if you want to know, then you go stand side by side.
Right. That's how I feel as well.
And we should definitely explore that a little bit more in detail when we come back from this quick break.
We'll be right back right here on the Asherado Show. We're back on the Asherado Show right here on WLVSListenVisionLive.com. We left off talking about the Baltimore uprising or the Baltimore riots, however you're seeing it tonight, and just really delving deeper into this issue that's hitting us very close to home.
Well, I guess we all are encouraged to have a heart. We were all encouraged to care about dogs when Michael Vick got caught in the dog fighting ring. So let's call on that same heart and that same humanity now in this situation. And I think what will be because yesterday there was 10,000 black people protesting peacefully. It might have been 200 dudes who weren't so peaceful, who was going for theirs. Now, personally, I know 5 white people who yesterday stole all the beer they need that will probably last them through the Orioles season yesterday.
Wow.
So I'm just telling you that wasn't on the news. Them's my people. I will drink beer with them this summer, and so that's cool. But like let's understand the narrow scope that we're getting fed through. And so I think that one thing that's very important to understand when we look at media coverage is the fact that they also have an agenda, and they are agitators, because there were 10,000 black people out there yesterday not doing nothing but being peacefully positive.
So what happened when the 10,000 white people were out in Ohio when Ohio State won football championship? And there were
they was flipping over shit.
90 fires going on.
Well, we can flip that to when Kentucky lost their only game of the season, and the kids there at the school burned down stuff. They riot, but they're just plain old kids. They're just doing plain old kids. But
behavior. It's not a riot.
We're labeled as thugs and criminals.
The same repair has to be done by the city, and it's not reported the same way. Now, what is powerful, and I give a shout out to my white people and my Hispanic people, my people who would pass for non-threatening because of their complexion. I give a shout out to them, the ones who I don't know and the ones who I know personally, who are in Baltimore today, standing shoulder to shoulder with people, not knowing what was going to happen, but like they had the humanity to go out there and understand the language of the people who were going through it, and that's what's real. And if it was 10,000 white people out there, like out here protesting,
completely different.
Oh
angle.
man, it would make some headlines, and it would actually make some change, and it would make some brainwashed cops fall back.
Now, Rashid, I know you were talking about what our president was saying during the break. Could you share that with the audience and just what exactly happened and your opinion on all of that?
I just saw a short clip on Facebook. He was referring to us as thieves and stealing, and they're not protesters, they're thieves. But I'm kind of bothered by his response, because I didn't get this kind of response when the Trayvon Martin case, the Eric Garner case. Where was he at speaking when it came to these situations? You know what I mean? He's like neutral, but then when it's us and it's we're labeled. You know what I mean? So it's like you can't play.
It's because CVS is corporately owned, and a CVS got damaged. If nobody damaged nothing, nobody would have said nothing. And it would be, I don't know, Empire would be on tonight or something.
Or just maybe he is watching the news like everyone else. And
it wouldn't have made the news.
Taking what, other people are taking from the situation. I mean, I don't think everyone is looking at the situation from maybe our perspective.
Oh, no, they're not,
being
definitely.
unheard, of being a cause and reaction type of thing. And if we believe that the media is portraying it in a certain way, and then it's being delivered back to others in a certain way.
But speaking of media, I think we have a couple of videos that we wanted to share about what's been going on.
First one was a Ray Lewis response.
Yeah, and the last time I checked, I got 13 million hits.
Did you ever
on
catch
YouTube.
the one from one of the guys that actually organized it?
I think we have that one as well.
Yeah.
But I think so. We'll see.
No way. No way. No way this can happen in our city. No. Young kids, you got to understand something. Get off the streets. Violence is not the answer. Violence has never been the answer. Freddie Gray, we don't do nothing for him doing this. We know there's a deeper issue. We know what the jungle looks like. But this isn't it. It's enough of us in the streets trying to change what's going on. Baltimore, get off the streets. Kids, go home. Stay home. You don't have no right to do what you're doing to this city. Too many hardworking people build this city. We put this city together. We put this city on our back. We with you. We know what's going on. We know the problems. We know there was wrong done. We know we're not getting the right justice. We know all these answers. But riding in our streets is wrong. It's dead wrong. We got to go back to the beginning. It takes a village. It takes a whole village to raise one child. We got to redefine what this looks like. We got to redefine what building Baltimore looks like. Because there's too many people putting real sweat, real tears to make our city a better place. I can't come back home and this is it. Kids can't walk the street. This is our future. Our future's in Baltimore. What we're trying to build is in Baltimore. Too many babies paying attention to this craziness. And the sad part is we got young kids trying to tell us how they're going to dictate our city. That won't happen. We must change this right now. Stop the violence, man. Go home. I'm telling you, go home. And whatever I got to do, it will not happen on our clock. It will not happen on our clock.
Man, there's no human resource like good energy. And that's my man, Ray Lewis. That's my man, 100 Grand. Now, we're going to show that video again. But as you watch the video, just in your mind, I want you to replace the word kids with the word police. Now, when you watch this video again, I want you to exchange the word kids with the word police. This would have made this perfect. All right, roll that.
Amen.
No way. No way. No way this can happen in our city. No. Young kids, you got to understand something. Get off the streets. Violence is not the answer. Violence has never been the answer. Freddie Gray, we don't do nothing for him doing this. We know there's a deeper issue. We know what the jungle looks like. But this isn't it. It's enough of us in the streets trying to change what's going on. Baltimore, get off the streets. Kids, go home. Stay home. You don't have no right to do what you're doing to this city. Too many hardworking people build this city. We put this city together. We put this city on our back. We with you. We know what's going on. We know the problems. We know there was wrong done. We know we're not getting the right justice. We know all these answers. But riding in our streets is wrong. It's dead wrong. We got to go back to the beginning. It takes a village. It takes a whole village to raise one child. We got to redefine what this looks like. We got to redefine what building Baltimore looks like. Because there's too many people putting real sweat, real tears to make our city a better place. I can't come back home and this is it. Kids can't walk the street. This is our future. Our future's in Baltimore. What we're trying to build is in Baltimore. Too many babies paying attention to this craziness. And the sad part is we got young kids trying to tell us how they're going to dictate our city. That won't happen. We must change this right now. Stop the violence, man. Go home. I'm telling you, go home. And whatever I got to do, it will not happen on our clock. It will not happen on our clock.
And we're back on the Asherado Show. Now, it was a very interesting exercise to use the word police in place of kids.
Yeah.
I have to say that.
Yeah. Words are really interesting in their shape and their form and how they're pointed. It would have been a totally different thing. Like, that would have lifted him to, that right there would have lifted him to Muhammad Ali 2015 level if he just replaced the word kids with police. Saying kids, I get it because everybody wants to be safe, but we've heard that before.
Do you think he would be allowed to do that? Like, do you think that
You don't be allowed to do Muhammad Ali was down to go to jail over Vietnam.
Well, I mean, but Ray Lewis is not Muhammad Ali.
I'm saying.
I'm just asking because I think that sometimes
You do what you must.
celebrities, they are guided by what their lifestyle, whether they're involved with the league or they're involved with endorsements or whatever else that might make a bigger impact.
You don't worry about those things. But I'm glad he's in the conversation. I'm glad he has entered himself in the discussion because now there's no way out. He did a lot for Baltimore. He's now involved in this.
Yeah, I mean, sorry, go ahead, Rashid.
I just really want to know what his solution is to it. I mean, everybody is talking now about what our reaction is, but let's not forget history and us being peaceful and protesting, and nothing is coming about.
We need white people
these
outside.
Officers killing African Americans, man. There's nothing coming out of it. So what? How much more marching? It's crazy. We was marching 50, 60 years ago, and we're still marching today for justice and equality? Come on, man.
I know. I mean, it's just really a sad day, and especially as a mother, of a son who could potentially continue to deal with this on a day-to-day basis moving forward, and having a black president and thinking things were going to get better. And it seems like we were more backwards than we were before we had a black president.
Yeah.
I heard an interesting dialogue today, and they were making reference to what's the place in Kansas?
Kansas?
The Black Wall Street?
No, the last situation that just occurred. I can't think of the city name.
You mean
the last
Missouri?
city where the brother
South
got
Carolina.
shot.
South Carolina?
No, before that.
Damn. See, that's the problem.
That's too many.
Right.
That's too many cities.
We just heard about Miami. Rashid just shared with us another situation in Miami.
Nonetheless, so the situation that they explained was, that particular place was a white mayor, a white chief of police, and all of the leaders of that town were white. Bring this situation in, and these young people got to understand that despite the fact that there is a black chief of police, a black mayor, and a black president, 20 miles away or less than that, whatever it is, and they still can't get equality or get simple things that we think is justice. And so given that fact, you can't be mad when young people have no faith in marching.
Right.
Young people have no faith in what we deem as law, because everything that they've seen dictates that that's opposite of what we preach as adults.
And like you have like today I was discussing something with my dude. He was like, man, we need more black cops. And I was like, okay, because then what? And so he was like, because then they would see themselves and us. And I was like, nah, they blue. They all blue to me. They all blue. They're not black, they're not white, they blue. Yeah. Because where were the punk ass black cops who were there to stop the white cops from acting up? They not gonna turn on them because they all blue.
Or are you talking about when?
In any one of these situations, in any one of these many situations,
doesn't give you any more trust than being white in uniform. If you already don't look at anybody in uniform as somebody you know. And I just going back to when I just think about when I first started teaching here in DC, my very first year, I remember being told, I was listening to some kids I was teaching, some kids that were troubled and just in and out of trouble a lot, and they were talking about like robbing people. And I was just like, wow, y'all are really sitting here talking about robbing people. Would be like, it's no big deal, I'm your teacher. I'm like, well, you ain't got to worry about being robbed. I'm like, well, why? Well, because, you're black, so you don't have no money, and you're with us, so you cool. And you're not the police, because we might just rob the police just because, we just don't like the police. And that's something that's not just a normal thing. And we have a caller calling in.
All right.
Caller,
are you there?
Hello, caller. Talk to us.
All right, we lost
Hello.
the caller. Call back.
She's still on the line.
still on the line?
All right, well, call back if you
Please
can.
call back.
We're working on this, caller. We're working on this.
So one of the other things I think, and this is like my last, and I'm getting off my soapbox because this is an emotional issue for me, but is that one of the things that I don't condone. Are we going back to the caller?
we're getting technical instructions.
One of the things I don't condone is the fact that I still don't agree with of destroying our neighborhoods, right? I can't buy into it, even if we own or if we don't own the fact, because
I agree with you, Blue Magic. That's why it's a tough situation.
But on top of that is that our young people have so much anger that is misguided and misled, and particularly in this situation, like in Baltimore, where our young people are undereducated because they're not receiving a quality education in Baltimore public schools. They don't have access to recreational services. Like there's all these limitations of their ability to socialize and develop, right? Yeah. So what they know is tear shit up. Yeah. Like what the belief is that if no one gives a shit about me, then I don't give a shit about nothing else.
And that's exactly how people who feel ignored feel, whether they're white or black or whatever. Right. That's what happens. You start to break stuff, and that's what's popping. Right. But let me tell you this. So today my boy went to Baltimore, and Professor Griff was out in Baltimore from Public Enemy. Right. Like, back in the 80s, he was rocking with the organized S1Ws. Right. Like they really had like a formation and all that together. He asked Professor Griff, what do you tell these people? And so Professor Griff was like, now's not the time to teach, because it's an old African proverb, you can't sharpen your spear when you're at war. Right. So it's our responsibility, like he was saying, as the ones who are more knowledgeable, to work with these people and walk with everybody through their walk. Right. Because then when something happens, everybody is prepared and knows how to handle stuff. But you can't get in the second quarter in the trenches, and start coaching.
But walking with those people through their walk, does that mean encouraging behavior that we don't believe in?
No, it means like in a daily basis on a peaceful Tuesday, you will have had something to say when nothing was going on, as opposed to wait till something's going on and start finger wagging.
Well, one of the things I did appreciate that didn't really get a whole lot of media attention, and I said something to it last night on social media, is that there was a lot of black men that came out to represent for their communities, their neighborhoods in Baltimore that were having issues.
Shout out to the 300 Black Men Coalition who was out in the street.
The 300 Black Men Coalition, Fruit of Islam. I saw some brothers from Omega Psi Phi, a lot of clergymen, and we didn't see that on national media.
And everybody else too.
You had to see that in little clips of people just filming their stuff and putting it out. But nonetheless, is that I think there's so many people and you saw it more today that love their city in Baltimore, because that's what we're talking about, and they're out there doing the things now. So my hope is that in destruction, that now we're starting to take a real unified step moving forward, and one, really developing our young people and hearing their voice, and then two, really giving a shit about our community. And it's unfortunate that we have to burn that bitch down before we really appreciate what it's worth.
And I think on that note, we should come back after break and explore maybe a little bit more.
Right here on the Asherado Show on WLVS, ListenVisionLive.com.
back on the Ash Sherrado Show on Listen Vision Live. Call in at 202-758-8607 and let us know how you feel about the destruction of the black male and the destruction of CVS. I don't know, which is more important?
To whom?
Right, exactly.
I need my grandma's drugs.
I mean, that's one thing that's really actually pretty powerful, because one of the things that happened with one of the buildings that was set on fire was right next to a senior citizen home that's run by a church. And they had to evacuate, and the senior citizen home caught on fire. So it's like...
It wasn't actually built yet. It was still in construction. It was next to a church. The church was actually building it. $15 million. It wasn't done yet.
Yeah.
Burnt to the ground.
And that's where I don't agree.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
with making a statement to that level. I mean, make a statement, but I mean, now the senior citizen spot's burnt down.
It's a casualty of war.
Well, it wasn't only a senior citizen's home. It was a senior citizen's home. It was like a drug, STD. Then there was like a youth center and then like a work development center. So it was all these things that only benefit black people, because that's
right.
That's in the
no,
community.
the domino effect is cold. Like, it's not okay. However, if you, me, you, and you weren't out there building up the community last week, we can't say shit this week. We don't have the right. We have forfeited our right to say anything about what anybody should do.
Well, I agree with you to a certain extent.
I don't
because
know how I feel about
because
that.
because
We have the right.
well, guess
I
what?
have the right to do whatever
Guess
I
what?
damn well
I'm
have
saying,
the right
but
to do.
it's so entitled.
No, it's not entitled.
If
I mean, if
we're
it's
not helping-
not okay, but who said we're not helping?
Okay, well,
Just,
that
if
was
you
all
may
I
or
said.
may not be helping, I
No,
don't
I
know.
said if
I
we-
mean,
if
I'm
we
a
didn't-
part of my community.
I'm saying if we weren't helping last week in Baltimore, we can't say nothing.
Well,
about
you were
what's happening
helping
this week.
last week in Baltimore. Weren't you buying up some real estate?
Yeah, but I mean, shit.
Weren't you helping the community? Weren't you helping it grow?
I didn't have any personal contact with the Baltimore resident
Come
who was
on now.
impoverished last week.
So the reason why I
just
disagree
saying.
I don't know how to
is
even
because
respond
one,
to
so
that. It's just like kind of getting out of control.
so if I don't if you know in this world that we're talking about, if I didn't work with kids and I was walking down the street and a kid strong-armed me, I don't have a reason to talk because I didn't do anything to intervene in their life earlier.
No, I'm saying if a kid does some shit to you, then you got to do your man thing, but you'll be doing your man thing in the center of war at that point.
I have mixed feelings about that, because I think even for me as a teacher, and I know Blue Magic, you've worked as a social worker for many years, and you know, Sherrado, you've done your work in volunteering, and I mean, I do have a problem with people who have done nothing, like not one thing. They have not mentored one child, have not gone, like not have done nothing but complain. Like that bothers me. But if you are like part of something, then I feel like you have a different frame of reference and understanding than someone who has done absolutely nothing. Yeah. And there's a lot of people out here, a lot of very well educated, bougie ass people who want to sit and get on Facebook and talk shit about, oh, these people, oh, woo, 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 and ain't doing a damn thing. We're not with one kid, not with one organization,
and that's
not
my
with
point.
anything. They might donate their money to their church, but they're not actually doing anything. So, like, for people like that, that really irritates me. It makes my blood boil, because you have no understanding, you have no frame of reference, you don't have a leg to stand on, because you don't really actually even know shit about what's really going on.
Well, and I think that's very similar to why, you know, white media and white people can look at the situation the way it is. Oh, these kids are just burning up the neighborhood. And you can take black people that's not their experience, that's not their reality. They don't know what that means. I think and I agree with you. Like, I guess my issue in all that, and you know, like I can only give so much energy to that because I can't control how people think and what their realities are. But given the fact that, you know, like I could have been that kid, and then given the fact that that's what I've spent my entire professional career doing, is working with those kind of kids, like I have a different insight. I don't agree with this. I don't agree with burning down our neighborhood. Right. That's the stance I'm going to take. But I understand like what it feels like to be very, very goddamn angry, right? And then, you know, when there was a lady that they were interviewing, she said that the pressure cooker has exploded. Mm-hmm. So I understand what that looks like, and I understand why that happens. But I just can't get with our, you know, Like for me, like if we're gonna be in revolutionary spirit, and we really want to do some real revolution shit, get on a bus or load your cars up like you went to that mall.
Yeah,
take
but Blue Magic, that is a very
Columbia.
that is a very evolved place to come from, and I think the expectations of young children reacting that way it's too much to ask for. That's why I see both sides. Like, you have to understand where those kids are coming from and what they've been lacking, and this is their reaction to it. They haven't had the same experiences as someone more experienced, someone more guided, someone more involved. They're coming from the place that they know, and that's why I'm totally understanding their reaction, even though I don't agree with it.
But check this out. It's people in DC. There's people in DC who haven't been to Baltimore. And there's people in Baltimore who haven't been to DC or Philly. So
West Side, they from West Baltimore, haven't been to East Baltimore. It's like you see kids from Southeast and never been to Northwest.
And they're grown up people. So like it's not just the children, but I'm saying it's the element.
It's a mindset.
And
oppressive.
And so the beautiful thing about their reaction is that it causes a ripple effect to make people start talking about what should and shouldn't be done. But how long
does that happen though? And so that's, you know, and I can't even think of all the goddamn towns we done destroyed in regards to, you know, police brutality toward black people. I can go back to LA, like we tore LA up.
Yeah.
I mean, in years after that, it's still police brutality, you know, it's still black people doing harm to each other.
This is what I think would stop everything. I think what would stop everything is that if every black person influenced about 3 white people
to do what?
To exercise their white guilt.
Wait, what?
I mean,
hey, look, if three white people per black person exercise their white guilt.
So how do they do that, Grindstone? How do they do that?
Tonight you stand shoulder to shoulder and cuss at the fucking police, and then get the fucking news cameras to show up and interview you.
I mean, we got that shit in New York, you know,
that
the Black Lives
really
Matter, blah,
weight,
blah.
though.
But when bullets get to flying around and
overkill.
rocks and shit get to thrown around, they gone.
And they get locked up just like anybody else, and then they get pushed to the side. Like,
White
that
people
that white guilt shit only goes
I
so
think it
far
has to be
for
white people-
fighting next to it.
White people.
Take that power that you have in your position and use your white guilt in that position.
That's what
Not
there
to
it
be
is.
on the street
White guilt is
throwing
an
rocks.
endless-
That ain't gonna do shit.
No,
You're going to jail just like everybody else.
White
Now,
guilt.
if you're in a position of power and you have white guilt, then you could actually use
There
that
it
white
is.
guilt to make some
Listen,
shit
I
like
think that's-
policy change.
You don't
But
understand the
other than
depth
that-
of white guilt. White guilt
what does that do?
is
You
deeper
must
than-
be white, Court.
It's
or
deeper than the Grand
urbanista.
Canyon. And if you're not,
Is that because white people vote? Or
no, it's just because everybody
Because
is
they white,
aware.
that's why.
Everybody's aware of what the hell happened. And then, like, usually, if you're white, now correct me if I'm wrong.
white people?
Correct me if I'm wrong.
Call us.
But you have hugged a relative who has gone to a public lynching.
What?
Grindstone, where are we going?
All right.
I'm just saying, and that fucks you up. And that fucks you up.
far.
Hey, look, hold up. If you have a grandparent, if you white and you got a grandparent who's in their 80s,
Why they gotta be into a public lynching? Maybe they didn't.
What if they worked on Underground Railroad?
Back away from the cup.
Wait a minute.
wait, why is this unreasonable?
It's not that it's so unreasonable. Just that I don't
think
think,
we're
that's the
reaching
majority.
right now.
I think
Okay.
it's a reach right here.
How
Like,
is
it's not the
this?
majority of
How
white
is
people.
this pertinent right now, though?
Because what that does, it messes with you knowing that this is what grandma and grandpa were privy to on some level. Even if they were great people, they didn't stop that person from getting beat. They didn't stop that person from getting lynched, and it fucks with you.
I don't think them fucking matters at this point.
And as a black person, you have to have these conversations, and you have to reach into that resource of white guilt, and you have to.
And what does that do?
Level the playing field, because that white person will speak up for you, because
we have
ain't
another
nobody
caller calling
listen to
in.
your black
Sorry.
ass, but they listen to white people.
Hello, caller. Caller, are you there?
Angry black man on the scene.
I'm not angry. I'm
Oh,
telling
we
the
have a
truth.
caller on the line.
Call her, holla.
Hi,
Hello.
Hey,
What's going on?
this is Dr. Bloggett.
Hi,
Talk to
Hey,
us.
boo.
Dr. Bloggers, are you an oppressor?
Okay, I just want to comment on what Brian said about what there is, and I'm going to explain why. Because there was a hunt race. There's a horse race in Baltimore last weekend, and a dude came to interview the people there. And the horse race is basically the elite Baltimore. And all of the kids had no idea what was happening 10 miles from there. They didn't quote, oh, black. And for all, some of them were like, oh, we're all equal. And then one 50-year-old man was like, in Baltimore, since we have a black mayor, a black police commissioner, that everything has gone to pot, basically.
They've had black mayors for a while, though.
Yeah. So that's the, you know, the atmosphere for the book that you're talking about. It's not, it's this.
Dr. Bloggers, your phone is breaking up. Is it?
Between, you know, the elite Baltimore was often white and then 4 black. And they're 10 miles from each other, and they don't know what's on. And I'm not scared, because I was in that neighborhood where these people are making ridiculous comments, and I have no idea what's going on.
Dr. Bloggers, we need you to hang up and call us right back, because unfortunately it's a bad connection and we can't hear you very well. I want to hear what you have to say.
Okay.
But it sounded like some social inequity was going on.
She said that the white people live around the corner from the black people and they don't know each other.
Yeah, that's a trip, man.
But that's Baltimore, though. Like, you'll be in a pretty good neighborhood, you hit a corner, and you be dead smack in the wire.
Well, that used to be D.C.
Well, that's true.
Some places it
It still is.
It's called gentrification.
It still is.
I don't know my
Yeah,
neighbors.
but I think, like, you know, right, yeah, you know, and so how does that happen on public transportation? Now, wait, just before you say something, I was told yesterday, I was like, man, what the hell is up with this damn $200 million streetcar line on A Street?
It's a waste
So
of money.
I was told by a white person whom I respect that the streetcar was built so the white people don't have to catch the X2.
God damn, word.
I mean, the X2 might have some stinky niggers on it.
Well, the X2 is kind
They
of
were
dangerous.
trying to eliminate
The
that.
X2
Exactly.
is fun,
They were trying to
though.
eliminate the X2 when
Right,
they built the
exactly.
streetcar.
Never a dull moment on the X2,
But the-
man.
but the
I got some
funny part
stories about the
is
X2.
I hate the X2. Listen.
So let me hear.
I mean, the funny part about that is that they were trying to eliminate the X2 for the streetcar, but then not paying attention to safety and the fact that Benning Road turning into 8th Street is small.
Right.
You
Before it
can't have
happened
a
right
trolley cart coming down there and there's parked cars for parking spaces. You seen that it already had an accident
crashing
and
in the cars,
they ain't
yeah.
even activated it yet, and it's already
Yeah.
caused damage, man. And now they not even sure if they're gonna even
They're
really
supposed to
open it.
put it in the middle of the road instead of on the damn lane that the cars drive.
Yeah, just a waste of money. That's $200 million going down the drain.
So, Grindstone,
There's
so
our tax money.
how many white people are on, and I don't even know how this has become a white issue.
The
But
X2?
I'm just curious. Just even on the Minnesota exit, how many white people get on the bus there?
Oh, I can
I
tell
don't
you
know.
at
I
19th
don't
and Benning
know.
Road how many people get on the bus.
That aren't teachers.
No, I don't know. I mean, I haven't caught the bus in a long time. I grew up catching
It's
the
a
bus.
couple.
I grew up
It's a
catching
couple.
the
It
bus.
depends.
Very rare coming out Minnesota Avenue.
Yeah.
station,
I
I'll tell
see,
you
like
that.
on my commute, I probably
But
see.
You
you
might
don't
have
ride
white-
on Minnesota Avenue.
You might have white MPD
I ride on
police
Benning
officers.
Road.
Minnesota
I'll do-
Avenue is a different beast. That's
Well,
a
according to my real estate sales in Deanwood, that should change
Yell.
significantly.
Woo!
Yeah.
Interesting.
Wow.
well,
Interesting.
outside of being a revolutionary, since that's the page we were on, topic of the show was actually about how to get your money.
Well, no, not only get your money, but how to get mad and get yours at
Right.
the same time. So I guess we'll discuss that at a later date.
Yeah, we
'cause
have to.
The conversation really
evolved so
evolved into something greater, but
I mean,
something that had to be talked about.
You know what we need to do? Like, we need to give random compliments and random hugs, and when in doubt, build up a black person's self-esteem. If you just in doubt about what the hell is going on, just, man, what's up, King? What's up, Queen? You look great today. Say some positive shit to a motherfucker, because people have been beat down. You get beat down, like, from the time you wake up, like on some subtle real slick,
Man, what?
chessboard shit, man. And like we really have to like just do something and build people up. Like when Kendrick Lamar's song "All Right" comes on, and this dude is saying "We gonna be all right," man. Look at the people who know that song. Look at how their face lights up at Broccoli City Fest.
Oh my
man,
gosh.
people were like going off.
Crazy.
Like when they were playing that song, it was like, damn, we gonna be all right for real. We gonna
You
be
know,
all right.
But I want to say something real quick about this, the whole like police thing. Now, me having friends that are police officers, there are good police officers out here.
Word.
I will give them that.
Will they tell on their partner if their partner goes bad?
Is he white or black?
I don't know.
Jeez.
I mean, but the thing is, you got to understand this too. A lot of the police officers that's on the force aren't from here. They're bringing them in from different states. So when they come in, they're from different states. I mean, I remember when I used to drive a '97 Lincoln Continental, and I used to get harassed because they thinking that, okay, there's some young cat or whatever, not understanding that I don't have no criminal record. I ain't never been in the streets like that. So pull you over, oh, your tent, this, that, and the third. So I would question it. Well, your car has 10 on it. What's different between us? You know what I mean? So, but you got those dudes that'll stereotype, okay, yeah, that guy there. Because when I get the Camaro, I ain't never been bothered in. You know what I mean? So it's like people stereotyping what kind of car you drive. And
so like, all right, so say one of your boys who's a police officer got into a situation where he was the passenger cop. He was a passenger cop, and his friend broke somebody down, right? In just a crazy way, stole his money or whatever. You know what cops do.
They're gonna cover each other. I'm gonna let you know that now. They're gonna cover each other.
That's not okay.
They're gonna cover each other. Because
Well,
I mean, even
on
me,
that note, not to cut everybody off tonight, it's been a great discussion, but we got to wrap it up tonight. Thank you for listening to the Ash Serrato Show. Signing off with my co-host Grindstone.
Stand somewhere and plant your damn feet.
Don't be angry though. Our producer, the Urbanista.
Fight the power.
Our DJ Blue Magic.
The revolution will not be televised.
And thank you so much to our guest tonight, Rashid.
Appreciate it. He just took the words on my mouth.
Right here next week, Tuesdays as always, 8 to 9 p.m. on the Ash Serrato Show on listenvisionlive.com.